Okay, so let's start with some tools to get text read aloud to you by your device. And let's start out with iOS. So we're going to be talking about the iPhone or the iPad right now. And I've got my iPad screen here. And to turn on some text reading functionality, what you would do is go to your Settings app, go down to Accessibility, and then to Spoken Content. Now in Spoken Content, you're going to want to make sure that your Speak selection is turned on, your Speak screen is turned on, and then your highlighting is turned on. And then you can turn the speech controller on as well. So now that you've got all that turned on, you can do some kind of neat stuff. So let me go to an app that has some text in it. So here's my Note app, and I've got some text. So if I want this text read aloud, I can have this read aloud in a variety of ways. The easiest way is just to tap on a word, highlight it, and then you'll see a little speech menu pop up. And if you see right here, it'll say Speak, and if I tap on that,
Disabilities.
so that'll read anything that I select, and I can select an entire sentence or a paragraph or multiple words, and it'll go ahead and read that aloud.
Disabilities that limit the ability to perform ADLs.
The other option that I have now is if I want just the entire block of text read aloud, I can go to my screen reader, which is this little floating menu here. And this little floating menu is just going to be there no matter what I do. So if I go to my home screen or if I go to different apps, that floating window is always going to be available. So let me go back to Notes, and now say I want this entire note read to me. I can open up my floating window and click play.
Assistive technology that is assistive, adaptive, and rehabilitative device.
And it will just go ahead and read everything that it sees on the screen. You can also do by tap. So if I click on this little finger, now it's just going to read anything that I tap on.
Note, assistive technology that is assistive.
So that's the built-in ways that you can do text-to-speech on your iPad.
In this video, I am going to be showing you how to access and use your live text and live text-to-speech feature on an iPad iOS 15 and later. To show you how this works, I will open the camera on my iPad here. I have placed a document under the camera to demonstrate. The camera will automatically recognize the text on the screen, and an icon will appear to the upper right-hand side of the screen. If we tap the icon, it locks in on the selected text and now gives you options to copy, select all, look up, translate, share, or speak sentence. If you choose speak sentence, it will read the first sentence of the document.
We will have a short snack time in the afternoon.
A long press will allow us to select the text we want to have read out loud. We can now tap Speak in the menu and it will read the selected text. In this case, I have manually selected all the text in this paragraph.
Tie-dye Tuesdays. All kindergarten students will have the opportunity to tie-dye a t-shirt one evening in September. Our class color is blue.
We could also tap Select All from the menu and then tap Speak to read all the text on the screen. Live text also has the ability to translate. By tapping Select All and then Translate, it gives us translation options. I have chosen Spanish for this demonstration.
Martes de teñido anudado. Todos los estudiantes de kindergarten tendrán la oportunidad de teñir una camiseta una noche de septiembre. El color de nuestra clase es el azul.
If I want to refer back to this document without the live camera, I can take a picture and access it in my Photos app. This is where enabling spoken content from within the accessibility settings will be helpful. When we open the picture of the document, we will see the document icon in the bottom right-hand corner and tap it to highlight text on the screen. This feature can be helpful for reading without the text-to-speech reader. On the left side of the screen, you will notice a menu control button. Tapping that button will open the control center, and by simply pressing the play button, it will read the entire document for us.
So now let's talk about some tools for the Android. And the Android has similar features built into it like I showed you on the iPad. The first one is called Select to Speak, and this is an accessibility feature that'll read text back to you on your Android screen. So this would work for your Android phones, or if you're one of the people that has an Android tablet, this would work on that as well. So here's my Android setting menu, and if you scroll down, you will see Accessibility. Click on that. For this demonstration, I'm going to be showing you Select to Speak, which is under Screen Readers. Now if I turn that on, what's going to happen is now it's going to enable this little fella that you see on the bottom right of the screen. And if I tap him once, then I can turn on my screen reader. And so now anywhere that I tap on the screen, it's going to start reading back from that specific moment.
When Select to Speak is on, you can tap specific items on your screen to hear them read aloud.
Okay, great. And here's a newer feature from Google. It's called Read It, and this is mainly used for reading aloud web pages. So if you're on a website that has a bunch of text, you can actually have that text read aloud to you by using your Google Assistant. And here's a quick video on how to do that.
Hey Google, read it.
Okay.
Today, we're announcing Read It, a new experience on Android that allows people to listen to web articles with the help of Google Assistant.
Read it, a new feature that will allow people to listen to web pages using text-to-speech. It means that we can read long texts in a more natural sounding voice. We built Read It to be very easy to use. You just open a web page. It can be in Chrome or in the Google app or in Google News app, and you say, hey Google, read it. And that's it. Google will start reading out the page within a few seconds. Read It is available in 42 languages, which allows you to translate a web page into your language before you actually listen to it. So it allows users to listen to pages in different language.
So now let's talk about ways that you can actually take a picture of a printed sheet of paper and have your device read that text aloud. For iOS, so for Apple products like iPhone or iPad, there's an app called Seeing AI that works fairly well, and here's a quick video about it.
The app narrates the world around you by turning the visual world into an audible experience. Point your phone's camera, select a channel, and hear a description. The app recognizes saved friends.
Jenny near top right, 3 feet away.
Describes the people around you, including their emotions.
28-year-old female wearing glasses looking happy.
It reads text out loud as it comes into view, like on an envelope.
Ken Lawrence, P.O. Box.
Or a room entrance.
Conference 2005.
Or scan and read documents like books and letters. The app will guide you and recognize the text with its formatting.
Top and left edge is not visible. Hold steady. Lease agreement.
Just a random PDF. And what you can actually do is, if you want this read out loud, if you go to View, scroll down to Read Out Loud, you can activate Read Out Loud. And after you do that, now anywhere that I click with my mouse, it's just going to start reading it to me.
Provided translation of words, or the entire text, increasing fluency for English language learners or reader, improves authoring text.
And so that anywhere I click, it's going to read that text out loud. So that can be super useful. There's also another feature in here that will just read the entire page out loud if you want it to do that. So this is already installed in your Adobe Reader. It's free, pretty easy to use. Moving on to Microsoft Word. Similarly, there is a support built in already to Microsoft Word that will read text out loud. Okay, so here's my Microsoft Word document. And Microsoft Word has a lot of accessibility features built right into it. So the first one I can show you is this assistive spell checking tool. So I've got some text here, and you can see that this word is spelled wrong. So if I wanted some support on how to spell that, I can actually right click, and then it'll show me my options here. But the cool thing you can do is actually go to the arrow, and it'll actually read your options out loud. So I can click read aloud.
Ameliorate, similar to, better, improve, perfect.
The other option I have is to go into my full immersive reader mode, which is right here. And this is going to give you a ton of different options. So again, you've got your read out loud feature.
Assistive technology, is assist.
And you can also turn on a line focus. So if you only wanted to read one line at a time, it would do that. And again, you can have this read out loud.
Disabilities or the elderly population.
And you can do, 3 lines, however you want it to focus. You can also change the page color as well as the text color, because some people can read better under different color contrasts. You can adjust the line margins to how you would prefer it. You can also break apart the syllables, so it's really easy for that student to see where the syllable breaks are. So that's Microsoft Word with Immersive Reader. An Immersive Reader isn't just a tool only for Microsoft Word. It'll also work in your Microsoft Edge browser. Using the Microsoft Edge browser will enable is that Immersive Reader function. So if you go to a website that supports Immersive Reader, you're going to get a little book up at the top right here. That's going to be your Immersive Reader mode. And if I click on that, it's going to get rid of all of the images, all the clutter, and it's just going to save the text. So let me switch back to the normal website, and you can see that it's just going to pull out the text and make it really clean and easy to read. And again, the cool thing is that with Immersive Reader, you not only have this clean interface, but you have your text reader.
Assistive technology. Hearing aid. Assistive technology at is assistive.
And again, this is within a web browser, so pretty much any web page you go to that supports this feature, you're going to be able to turn on this Immersive Reader and have that text read aloud to you. And again, you can go in and you can change the text size just like you can in Microsoft Word. You can change the contrast. You can do all these different cool color combos to find the one the student prefers. And then you can also do the line focus that I showed you, as well as the grammar tools. So if you wanted to indicate syllables, or if you wanted to indicate what the nouns were, what the verbs and what the adjectives were. So here we go. We've taken a fairly dense website and really simplified it down, and then we can even show these grammar tools as well if the student is learning what their adjectives, verbs, and nouns are. So another thing that you can do, which is very popular, is actually scan a book or a sheet of paper and have the computer read aloud the text. One way to do this is to use a product called Office Lens, which is from Microsoft. And Office Lens would actually scan the book or the piece of paper, and then it can be read aloud using that Immersive Reader from Microsoft. So here's a quick video on how Office Lens and Immersive Reader work together to read aloud printed materials.
If you have not seen Office Lens before, Office Lens allows you to take a picture of a whiteboard, and it allows you to take a picture of a document, even a business card. And once you do that, you can share that image to a variety of locations. I will share mine usually to Microsoft OneNote. Why? Because Microsoft OneNote will take any picture that has text, and it will go ahead and it will recognize the text, performing OCR. Once it does that, a world of opportunities are available to me, including Immersive Reader, which is an application that will actually help me read the text more effectively. Perfect for me as a struggling reader, as well as teachers and students, and anyone you know that might struggle with reading. So I can go within moments from taking a picture of text, be it on a page, on a newspaper, place it into OneNote, and having it read to me and helping me, not just in the language I speak, but a variety of languages. So imagine a student taking a picture of a page of a textbook in English and having that page of a textbook read back to them in their native language. It's available, and you can do it, and it's all available for free.
With Office Lens, you can snap a picture of printed text. It'll take that text, and then what you can do is you can add your writing to it if you'd like to. Say that this was a worksheet and I needed to fill in some sentences, I could go ahead and input my writing. And again, I can use my word prediction here on this row, or I could even use my speech recognition if I needed to go ahead and drop that in there using this microphone button. And then I can move that around, put it to where it would need to be on the screen. I can, change the color contrast, do a whole bunch of stuff. I can even scribble on this guy if I want to. So say it was like a multiple choice, I could circle the ones that were correct. So the other very useful thing that you can do with this Office Lens app from Microsoft is actually have the text read aloud in the document that you scan. So I can click to share to Immersive Reader. It will take that image, extract the text, and just show you only the text. And then it can have that text read aloud to you.
This morning we will be reviewing our 3-year journey to fulfill our collective dream of providing.
And you can change the text spacing, change how big the letters are, as well as change the voice rate. So Office Lens is really powerful because you can take a picture of a sheet of paper, extract the text, have the text read aloud to the student, and then the student can go back in and input their writing to answer the worksheet questions or draw onto it. So those are a couple options to digitize your worksheet and add your writing to them. Now let's talk about speech to text. So speech to text is built into both the iOS and the Android operating system. And you can do this by using voice typing as well as your smart assistant. So just as a quick example, here's me doing voice typing on my iPad. You open up your keyboard and you'll see a dictation button next to the spacebar. I would tap on that. Hi, my name is Dan, period. This is a test of using the speech recognition on an iPad, period. So that's an example of using speech recognition on an iPad. You can do a similar feature on Android as well. The other thing that you can do is use like Siri or your Android voice assistant and ask it to take a note for you. So here's an example of me doing that with Siri. Take a note.
What do you want it to say?
This is an example of using a voice assistant to take a note for you.
Okay, I created a note. This is an example of using a voice assistant to take a note for you.
And it will go ahead and save that into your notes for you. So a few different ways to do voice typing. And again, just like most of the tools that I'm showing you, you can actually do this speech-to-text feature completely offline. You don't even need internet these days to do this. So word prediction is another great tool that can help kids with spelling issues, writing issues, those kids that just fatigue really easily. Word prediction can be useful because it cuts down on the amount of keys they have to press. And there's a lot of different ways to do word prediction. It's just like on your cell phone when you text somebody and you type the first letter or two and the app already knows what you're trying to write. It's the same principle. So like for example, here's my iPad, and if I type the letter T, it's going to pop up with my prediction list, and then I can just tap on the letters at the top to drop in the words that I want. And now you can actually do a similar feature using Google Docs. To get this to work though in Google Docs, you do have to install the free plugin called Read and Write. Once you have that installed, what you're going to want to do is take a picture of your book or your sheet of paper, upload it to Google Docs, which you can see here. Here's my image. Now I'm going to right click on that image and select Open in Google Docs. It'll open up and you'll see the image, and then Google Docs provides the text down below the image here. And now if I want this text read aloud, I can just click on my Read and Write plugin and that will read it aloud for me.
I beg your pardon, Dr. Lanyon, he replied civilly enough. What you say is very well founded.
Okay. Hello everyone. Here's a quick demonstration of how to use the Select to Speak feature on your Chromebook. You can see here I've got a Google Doc open. What I'm first going to do is navigate down to the bottom right hand corner here and open up my settings. And you'll see that I have an accessibility tab. I want to make sure I'll go ahead and tap on the settings icon there, the little gear. And over on the left hand side, I'm going to tap accessibility. And I'm going to always show accessibility options in the system menu. That'll be helpful for navigating and always getting access to it. But you can see under the accessibility settings, I have a lot of options here. So what I'm going to do is enable Select to Speak, and then I'm also going to come down here and enable the on-screen keyboard, which you can see is already there, as well as dictation as a quick way to go ahead and do that. So you can see that it's going to ask to download English speech files, so that's going to be great. It's already there. I've already made sure that this should work. What I'm going to do is now go ahead and navigate back to the Google Docs, excuse me. And what I can do is down at the very bottom, you should see a little icon there. I'm highlighting it with my mouse here, and it's basically, it looks like a speaker that's crossed out. I'm going to tap on that, and what I can do with my finger, I'm using a touchscreen Chromebook here, is if I select and highlight all of this stuff,
Your name 123 Your Street, Your City, Street 12,345 123 456 78900 reply at example.com lorem ipsum dolor sit omit consecta tuor adi pisking elet.
You can see that it gives me a reading menu. I can go ahead and play that again. I can go back. I can speed up how fast I want to do that. And what's really nice about it is it highlights as I'm reading, so it's helpful on tracking as well. So that's a pretty cool little deal. I can also do it with my mouse here. You can see all I got to do is go down to the bottom, click on that bad boy, and then draw my square.
Your name.
And it's going to read for me automatically right there. Pretty cool little feature. It's built right into the accessibility features. Another option that if I go down, I'll go a little bit lower and next to experience, you can see I can click on this little button here, dictation, and that's going to start listening to me all the time. New line. This is pretty cool, exclamation point. So you can see I can dictate everything I want into this document and no trouble there. Another cool feature with Chromebooks is if I use the on-screen keyboard to type, what it's going to do is going to make it a little hard for me to see everything, unfortunately, because this is a really small laptop. But it's also going to give me an option to use what's called the word prediction. You can see when I use that on-screen keyboard, it gives me a list of words up here that I can use. Oh, but I missed the space bar there. It's going to give me a list of words I can use. I can type in there, but you can see I went back and I added the space, and it didn't go back to the WOR, and now it thinks that the word I'm trying to spell starts with an R. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and back that up a little bit, and then I'm going to come back and select this WOR and get my word prediction. Word prediction. And it's also automatically going to fix it for me right there. And I have that accessible to me as well with the on-screen keyboard.
Okay, so moving on to digitizing worksheets and inputting your writing to them. So let's say that you have a worksheet that the student is struggling to input their answers to. Maybe they have some kind of issue with handwriting, or they have really bad penmanship, or they have difficulty with spelling, other types of writing issues. What you can actually do is take that worksheet, take a picture of it, and then you can use an extension called Kami to have the student put their writing in digitally. So let me open up Kami and I can show you how that works. And what you can do is upload your photographs of worksheets, and then you can add your writing to them. So if I wanted to draw onto this, like say it was a multiple choice and you wanted to circle the right answer, you could do that in all different colors. But let's say that I want to answer this question. What I can do is add a text box right here, and then I can input whatever I'd like here, and I can change how big it is, make it fit. And so that would actually allow that student to use the keyboard instead of having to rely on their handwriting to fill things out. The other cool thing that you can do is, let's say that this was an essay paper where you actually have to write sentences. What you could do is drop in a text box here, and then you could use your built-in accessibility features to support that student in their writing. So if I wanted to, I could turn on my Windows speech recognition, which is right here. And so right now it's listening to me, and Windows is putting my text into that box. And so that student could actually use their voice to describe what text they want input into that worksheet. The other thing that you can do is actually turn on word prediction for Windows, and I'll show you how to do that. So if you open up your start menu and type in typing, you can get to the typing windows. If you scroll down, you'll see show text suggestions as I type. And so now I've enabled word prediction. And so if I go ahead and start typing, if I just type one letter, the letter T, I'm going to get this word prediction box up here. And if one of these words is correct, I can just tap on it and it'll put it in there. And then if I type the next one, it'll give me more predictions. And you can just go on like that, and it will just keep helping you with those prediction lists. So that is useful for people who have difficulty with spelling. And it can also be useful for those with a physical disability that just makes typing really difficult or fatiguing for them. Okay, and talking briefly about speech to text. So in the last example, I actually showed you how to use the speech to text in Microsoft. And the way that I did that was I pressed the Windows logo key plus H, and that turned on my speech recognition, which works anywhere. And it looks like this. Just click the Windows logo plus H, and it will start listening and then inputting your voice into whatever you want it to type into. The other way you can do this is within your Microsoft Word document. You're going to see a dictate button right here. If you click that, then it's going to start listening to you, and it'll start putting your voice into your text document. And you can also do some basic punctuation and editing. So if I wanted to go like new paragraph, hi comma, my name is Dan period, you can see that you can do some basic punctuation and even navigation using just your voice with that feature. On your Chromebook, you're going to have a similar tool. It's called voice typing, and anywhere that you see this little microphone button, you can do the same thing. Or you can press the search key plus D, and it's going to open up a more global speech recognition option on your Chromebooks. Another way to do voice typing is to open up a Google Doc, go to Tools, Voice Typing, and then all you have to do is click here, and you can start writing with your voice. Hi, my name is Dan, period, new paragraph. This is a test of the voice typing feature in Google Docs, period. It works pretty good, exclamation point. For word prediction, that's going to be built into your Microsoft, and that's where I showed you on a couple slides ago where I would just type the first letter and then it would already know what I was trying to write. This is also available on your Chromebook in an app called ClaroSpeak, and I'll show you what ClaroSpeak looks like. So here's ClaroSpeak, and it gives you a pop-up window, and then if I type the first letter, it's going to give me my prediction list up here. And the cool thing about ClaroSpeak is that it'll actually read these predictions out loud to me if I just hover over them.
Talk. That. The. There.
Then I type to put it in there. And then if I type the next letter, it's going to give me another prediction list.
Great.
And I can just keep going along like that. A lot of other cool features built into ClaroSpeak, like you can have what you've written spoken to you.
They're great.
You can also upload files like PDFs into this, and it'll read the PDF out loud on your Chromebook. A lot of different cool features built into this that you can play around with. So here are some tools for early reading and writing. Most of these resources focus on books that are interactive or talking in one way or the other. I'll show you a quick slideshow of those services.
Welcome to Storyline Online, brought to you by the SAG-AFTRA Foundation. I'm Sarah Silverman, and today I'm going to read A Tale of Two Beasts, written and illustrated by Fiona Robertson. I was walking home from Grandma's house through the deep, dark...
Epic is an award-winning digital library for kids 12 and under. Once on Epic, your child will unlock a world of reading, learning, and discovery, getting instant, unlimited access to more than 35,000 high-quality books, videos, and so much more. Kids on Epic get to explore their interests in a safe, kid-friendly environment with no ads or in-app purchases.
Welcome to the Tumble Book Library Virtual Tour. Tumble Book Library is an online library of animated, talking picture books. Tumble Books are presented in an innovative and exciting format which help kids learn to read, build vocabulary, and have fun at the same time. Are you ready to check it out?
Tar Heel Reader is an online open-source library of free, easy-to-read, accessible books on a wide range of topics.
This is the story of the Three Little Pigs. Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs who lived with their mother at home. She was very poor and had not enough to keep them, so she sent them out to seek their fortune.
Meet Libby, the new app to let you discover and instantly enjoy thousands of ebooks and audiobooks from your library. Yes, your public library. One tap to find a library near you. One tap to discover something new. One tap to read or listen to that book you won't be able to put down. One tap to a shelf that has everything you've borrowed and all the books you want to read. One tap to finding your next great read at any library you belong to. It's so easy. All you need to get started is a library card.
So that was a great grouping of free resources for mainly young readers. For readers that are older, you can check out these resources on this slide. The groupings on the left there are downloadable ebooks from free sources like archive.org, Project Gutenberg, even Google has a lot of free books. The grouping on the right shows resources for those students that qualify under having a print disability. You can get specialized material from those sources. The link at the bottom shows a comprehensive listing of software available to actually read these types of electronic materials out loud to the students. So just a couple free resources to mention before we wrap up. If you have a student or a child who has an IEP, they can qualify to get a free laptop or desktop computer. If you want more resources and information on assistive technology, check out these Padlets that we put together that has really quick, digestible information. You can borrow our equipment for free for 30 days to try it out, and we have a lot of cool stuff in our lending library like iPads, bigger keyboards that are easier to type on, as well as these scanning pens that are an all-in-one solution where you can scan text and then the pen will read that text aloud to the student. My Study Bar is a free download that has a lot of the tools that I talked about bundled in it already. And then there's an assistive technology group out of Scotland that publishes really great one-page posters and leaflets on assistive technology that are worth checking out. And I'm just going to touch on just briefly the built-in accessibility features that are going to be found on all of your devices. Beyond the ones that I've shown you today, the one that I think is most worth mentioning is called Guided Access. And what Guided Access will do is it'll actually restrict the iPad and keep that student working in a specific app, so that they can't close out and maybe go play around on YouTube or whatever. It'll lock them into an app, and you can do things like set time restrictions as well as block out the settings menu. So let me show you an example. Let's say that you wanted a student to only be using their ClaroSpeak app. What I could do is turn Guided Access on, and this is what Guided Access looks like. And what I could do is, if I didn't want them to get into the settings, I could just draw a circle around the settings windows, and now that is touch restricted, so the student couldn't get into the settings. The other thing I can do is, if I hit start, now Guided Access is started, and if I click the home button, or if I try to swipe to get out of this app, it's not going to let me do it. I'd have to actually go in and put in my password for it to exit out of Guided Access and let me start using the iPad normally again.
The innovative Reader Pen and Exam Reader just got even better. Updated with new extraordinary functions, you will find many more useful ways for it to assist you. You can also disable auto-read and scan several text lines without being interrupted. When you are done, click the OK button to listen to it all.
He wished she had not mentioned letters.
And feel free to pause and continue listening as you please.
Don't get any letters, he said contemptuously. But your mother gets letters.
Finding a word that is confusing you? Simply mark it and link directly to one of our featured dictionaries that will explain the word to you.
Contemptuously. Contemptuously to Alabab in a scornful way that shows disdain, he contemptuously dismisses his son's work.
This function can truly improve literacy and enhance your reading experience. For your convenience, you can also clear the screen whenever you prefer with one touch. In addition to existing Collins Dictionary and Oxford Primary, an American dictionary is added in this release. Exam Lock has also been extended with more functions for your convenience, making it possible to choose text reading only with or without dictionary. To download your updates, please visit cpen.com and choose Downloads. A new world of possibilities right in your hand.
This is our Steno SR Pro 1 Steno Mask. It's a noise-canceling voice isolation microphone that allows you to privately transcribe or communicate anywhere without anyone overhearing a word you say. It also eliminates all background and ambient noise from your conversations and recordings, so it's perfect for open offices, classrooms, commuting, wherever you need voice privacy. I'm going to do a transcription of the Gettysburg Address over here on the right using Dragon 15 and have the room audio and video on, so you'll be able to see how accurate it is and you'll be able to hear how quiet it is. So as you can see, it's pretty quiet and it's very accurate, and just looking this over and it looks pretty good. So That's the SR Pro 1 Steno Mask. If you need any more information, just go to our website, talktech.com, shoot us an email or give us a phone call. We'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Hello, my name is Claire, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use a LiveScribe pen, specifically the LiveScribe Echo. So it comes with this very fancy pen and this equally fancy notebook. So let's get started. We're going to get into the actual notes section, which is what you would probably be using the pen for. So like we practiced doing, it's really easy to activate to start recording audio. You're just going to press the record button at the bottom of the page with the tip of your pen. You see that it's now recording. It'll give you a little timestamp on the screen to tell you how long you've been recording. And so as you're recording, it's catching all my audio. And if I wanted to write notes, I can do that. And the really great thing about this is that you can pause the recording if you want. It's paused. Or you could stop recording if you wanted to create a new file. And if I wanted to, as I'm talking, if the professor says something really interesting or something that you want to go back to later, the best part is that you can create a bookmark. So if you wanted to, you just press this little star down here. That's going to create a bookmark. And anytime you want to, when you're looking at it on your computer later, you can access that really quickly and easily. So if I'm just writing more notes here, just for the example, it's really nice because the audio will sync up to when I'm writing the notes and the audio will be right there when you go back and look at it. So that's just a minute-long example, and we're going to switch over to the computer to see how it looks on there. So part 2 of this, you are going to link up your LiveScribe pen to your computer in order to view your notes. So it's really easy to do this. You just have this little USB cable. You're going to plug it in and plug it into your computer. In advance, you're going to need to download the application, but when you have downloaded the application, which is called Echo Desktop, and it'll give you a link to download that in the box with the pen, it'll open automatically when you connect your pen. So the super cool thing about the LiveScribe pen is that you don't need to scan in your notes because it already knows what you've written magically. So if you go in here, it'll show all of your notebooks. And not only does it know all of the notes that you've written, it also knows what page it's on. If you notice on all of these pages, it has a little page number. So the LiveScribe pen knows what page it's writing on. So the entire notebook is scanned in for you. So right now, I just have a couple pages that I've written my notes on. So if we go to this example, this is page 47 that I was just writing on. Double click into there. And it has the exact same writing that I wrote on there in my computer, which is super cool. And the best part is that you can click on any part of these notes and it'll play the audio that was playing while I wrote the notes. The best part is that you can access that. It's really nice. How cool is that? And like I was saying earlier, you can have bookmarks. So I made a bookmark and I can show you how to do that. Just click that little star with the right arrow. When you go back and look at it, it'll take you to one of your bookmarks, which is super fun. You can have as many bookmarks as you want, which is really great. So if the professor, says something that's going to be important for next time or says that there's going to be a quiz, you can bookmark as many things as you would like and you can go through. You can skip forward and backwards in the audio. It's really easy to navigate. And anything you want to do, it's a really great user interface and it's super straightforward. Other tips that I would give you, so if you run out of space in this notebook, LiveScribe lets you print out more of the paper. So it's really easy to do that. You can even draw your own navigation cross if you wanted to. There's a lot of different options to explore, and it's a really powerful tool if you're somebody who likes to handwrite notes, but also wants that audio component just to make sure that you're capturing everything that your professor is saying.
Thanks a lot. This has been Dan Dyer from Idaho SESTA. Please contact me if you need to, or visit one of our websites for more information.